Since the children have flesh and blood, he too shared in their humanity, so that by his death he might break the power of him who holds the power of death. That is the devi, and free those who all their lives were held in slavery by their fear of death. For surely it is not angels he helps, but Abraham's descendants. For this reason he had to be made like them, fully human in every way, in order that he might become a merciful and faithful high priest in service to God, and that he might make atonement for the sins of the people. Because he himself suffered when he was tempted, he is able to help those who are being tempted.
Today, we gather to delve into the words from the second chapter of the letter to the Hebrews. But before we begin, let's ponder for a moment. Have you ever wondered why Jesus, being God, chose to experience human life with all its consequences? It's a bit like the CEO of a huge corporation deciding to spend a day as an ordinary employee, not just to show off his skills, but to truly understand what his employees go through daily. Is this an abstraction? In everyday life, indeed, it's quite rare. This passage tells us that Jesus became man, so that by death he might destroy him who holds the power of death, that is, the devil. Doesn't that sound like the greatest spy mission of all time? Jesus in human flesh enters enemy territory to conquer death from within. It's like an action movie, but far more epic. But why did he do it? Verse 17 says he became a faithful and merciful high priest in service to God. In practice, this means that Jesus not only solved our problems on the cross, but also understands them, having once struggled with them himself. When you say, "Nobody understands me," Jesus replies, "What about me?" It's like going to a doctor who has gone through a similar illness. When you tell him about your pain, he nods empathically and says, "Yes, I've had it. It's painful, right?" Jesus is not an alienated being because he is God who knows the taste of tears, pain, joy, and disappointment. Let's also look at Jesus' life from another perspective. Did you notice that despite all the suffering, he never lost his sense of humor? Pay attention to his conversations with the disciples. They are full of wisdom, but also humor and irony. Christ not only taught and suffered, but he also enjoyed having fun with a cup of wine and a good meal, which did not escape the attention of his opponents. But after all, he was a man of flesh and blood. In our lives, full of challenges and difficulties, joy and laughter can be like a balm. It may not always change the situation, but it can certainly change our attitude. The letter to the Hebrews reminds us that Jesus came down to earth to become one of us and to conquer our greatest enemy, death. But he did it with love, mercy, and an understanding of our weaknesses. In our own daily skirmishes with life, remember that we have an ally. It's like a friend who knows the pain of defeat and the taste of victory, because Christ encourages us to find joy, especially in the hardest moments. May this weekend be an opportunity for you to smile at difficulties, remembering that you are not alone in them. Amen.